Hey everyone, welcome to a very special edition of Spooky Sundays. I'm excited to bring you Spooky Sundays Extra, which is a series just as exciting as our regular episode. But in this series, we don't have our usual co-host Miza. So it's just gonna be me and the mic and the stories that you all have been sharing with me. So why Spooky Sundays Extra? So basically, Spooky Sundays Extra is all about you, our awesome listeners, the spooky stories that you have shared with us, basically. So what we're gonna do is that because we receive a bunch of well-written stories by our listeners, and we feel like this deserve their own spotlight lah. Okay, so we will try our best to actually storytell all of your stories and give them the attention that the stories deserve lah. Okay, so me and Miza actually talked about this, and then we agreed to this kind of episodes, like this kind of stories. I think it's best if I just go on to do it alone, so that commitment wise, Miza don't have to be there all the time. Okay, so for our first story, given by one of my close friend, which is Rick. I call him Rick lah. Then this is one of his stories that he actually encountered during his army days. So if you all recall, after episode 2 of Spooky Sundays, we did open question box, the IG question box, and then we actually asked for stories for you all to share with us lah. So this is one of the things that we were building up to lah, basically. So Rick was so nice. He actually took the time to actually type out this whole paragraph of a story, and then he sent it to Blabber Station's email. Yeah. And then so I'm just gonna get on with the story, and this is The Dangling Feet. Every single infantier must go through a phase called the Advanced Infantry Training, AIT. It's for those who have been selected to be posted as riflemen after their basic military training, and I'm one of those guys who got selected for it. So basically, basic military training is the long form of BMT lah. Okay? So my spooky encounter happened at the end of my AIT. It was the day I got tested to prove to the big guys that I'm worthy of the battlefront. A test called ATAC. The duration of the mission given took us around 20 and a half hours to be completed. At the end of the day, we were super exhausted, and all we could ever think of was our bunk beds. Despite being exhausted, we were happy that the hell moment was over and we passed the ATAC with flying colours. But it wasn't the end of the day. It was only 1 AM and we got back to camp. We had to clean all the control items from camp and also the ones we brought out of camp. And the worst part of cleaning off arms, it took us another 2+ hours to finish. So almost 4 AM when we finally get to settle down, all of us would take a shower and then go to bed. But the day was just different, and everyone gave up and decided to just sleep without showering. Just for your information, my bedsheet and pillow cover was taken out of washing, and both my bed and pillow were still wrapped in the plastic case as if it was newly bought. Because it was still wrapped up, hence I dared to just sleep without showering, because all I gotta do is to wipe it clean and after waking up before I putting on the new sheet. So everyone was sound asleep, but I woke up suddenly sitting on my bed, staring at the direction of the ladder which leads to my buddy's bed above. In just a few jiffys, I saw a pair of legs dangling by the ladder where I was staring, coming from the bed above mine. I instantly thought that was my buddy, because he's that guy who hardly sleeps at night. So those dangling legs moved and started to climb down the ladder, and all I saw was a silhouette that has a figure of my buddy in the dark bunk. Once it got down, it turned in my direction, stood right in front of me, and I can feel it staring into my soul, though I couldn't see its eyes. Too sleepy to get spooked, I confronted it thinking it was my buddy. But it kept quiet the whole time, and I asked him, "Hey Brandon, why are you staring at me? You bloody weirdo, I'm trying to sleep here." I kept talking while expecting a reply until I recalled that my buddy was on medical leave for the whole week and he was only going to be back the following week. Chills rose down my spine, and that's when things get spookier. Just as I was about to say my prayers, each part of my limbs started to paralyze one by one, starting from my mouth. I could not say a thing. I could hardly move. I then noticed that the figure I was talking to wasn't human. I was panicking from then on. The more I panicked, the faster my limbs got paralyzed. The second every single part of my body was paralyzed completely, the figure came forward to me and grabbed me by my shoulders. Its touch felt cold, like the icy wind during a thunderstorm. It slowly pinned me down, laying me flat on the bed, and then disgustingly sat on my tummy like it was having a horse ride. Oi, oi, oi. Crazy. My eyes then starts to shut down on their own. My breathing got heavier, and lots of things came to my mind that made me feel all helpless. But then, something came up to my mind. I recalled hearing tales about these beings and remembered that my late grandmom's advice when I was little. She told me that if you were to encounter these kind of beings, just keep in mind not to panic. Yes, we can't move an inch, but we can still hum. So hum the prayers out, it helps. So I did what I had to, and thank God it does work. I started to move bit by bit until I got full control of myself. I sat up and said my prayers out loud, and it woke my whole section up. Within the blink of an eye, the being vanished instantly in a vapory-like smoke figure. One of my section mates switched on the lights and asked me if I'm okay. I said, yeah, maybe. He then told me that my face looked very pale, as if I just saw a ghost, but I denied it. He then gave me some water to drink and realized my body temperature was burning up. So he called my section commander, and then my commander later escorted me to the camp MO. The army doctor gave me an IV drip as he told me that I'm dehydrating severely. So then, due to the reason of being unwell, I spent my night at the MO instead. It was almost 5 a.m. and I'm getting sleepier as the clock continues ticking. I was glad that the encounter ended, but it wasn't over. Okay, so this is like the first story. Before we move on to the second story, I will need to talk about this story. Okay, this is very, very crazy, okay? Like, especially sleep paralysis. So just to recap on the story, if any of you really missed some of the details, because I'm reading it off the story that he typed lah. I didn't rephrase it to my own to make it sound informal, because I want it to be as original as it gets. So basically, I want to touch back on this story, which is crazy. Okay, so first of all, this guy said that he was going through his advanced infantry training lah. So blah 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 blah. So basically, the whole idea of this is that the duration of the mission nearly took one whole day, like 24 hours lah. Okay, then so basically what happened was he spent so much time during the training, and he got back onto his camp, right? He still have to continue to do some chores lah, basically to clean up all the items that they bring out of camp and all that. So that itself took another 2 hours plus. And then they only get to settle down at 4 a.m. Who in the right mind would want to go and bathe at 4 a.m, dude? Because the next morning you have to wake up again. Because that's army, right? So that's why everybody just go and just like go and sleep lah, you know? And the pillows and the bedsheet cover are all like still wrapped in plastic, right? So all the more reason he don't have to go and shower, because it's like wrapped in plastic. Okay, so if you want to clean it, you can just wipe it lah. So all the more reason he's lazy lah. Yeah, and then oh my god, then when he want to sleep, he thought that his body was on top of the bed. Good God, the body was actually on medical leave, and then there was dangling legs climbing down. You know, when I was in NS, that was my biggest fear. Okay, because I took the lower bunk, you know, of the bunk bed, and I always fear that my body is gonna I don't know, I just have this irrational fear lah, that legs are gonna dangle down the bed lah, which is crazy. And then this thing happened to my friend here, and oh my god, and to be honest, really, he's so brave because he actually went through this experience without any trauma and all. So yeah, so basically I think that's that for the first story. Luckily the friend was inside, then you know, like switch on the light and ask if he's okay and all. Oh my god, just imagine in that bunk if he was alone. Okay, and then the fact that macam dia teringat that body dia is on top walaupun even though the body was on medical leave. Imagine if he was alone. Damn, I don't know how I would survive that, sir. Okay, but this is crazy. Damn. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the second story, which is actually a continuation lah. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue on from the last sentence. I was glad that the encounter ended, but it wasn't over. I encountered another one in my sleep at the MO. MO meaning macam medical officer punya tempat lah. Basically clinic lah. Okay. So this time, I wasn't aware, but someone saw it all happened. It just happened that my company medic was on 24 hours MO duty that night. So I was sound asleep, and when I got startled and woke up feeling like someone trying to pull my leg. The kind of startling feeling I got was as if I had that dream where I fell from a high place. Oh yeah, I can relate to that lah. Okay, continue. But when I woke up, nobody was there except for my company medic staring at me in shock at the end of the room. I was confused at the time. He asked me, "Bro, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah man, all good. Why? What's up?" He said, "Never mind. I'll tell you on the way to the smoking area." Then I replied, "Okay," in the most puzzled state. Yalah, memang baru bangun so habis nak pergi tempat serokok. Lost, you remember? Betul juga. So I followed him out and asked him again, "What's up? Why are you acting all different suddenly?" In return, he asked me, "Why didn't you take a shower before you go to bed?" And then he replied, "How did you know that I've not showered?" And then he said, "Because you smell like shit lah." Okay juga, busuk-busuk yang kau tidur, Rick. I giggled and said, "No, now what are you trying to tell me here?" Then he replied, "You do know that dark forces will get attracted to you, right? If you don't clean yourself up, right?" Then to my curiosity, I asked, "Why? Did you see something earlier?" Then he said, "I was monitoring you through the CCTV when you were sound asleep and all alone in the sick bay after a while. I saw as if something was pulling your blanket from your leg, but nothing was there. I thought it was just my head playing games with me, so I decided to go check up on you physically. Right when I entered the sick bay, I shit you not, I saw a Ponti staring at you real closely right on the left side of our bed. My whole body shut down for a bit, looking at it as goosebumps rose from my head to toe. It then pulled one of your legs, and that was the time you woke up, and it's just like that, it vanished in thin air." Oh my god. So basically, this is his friend lah yang recall back what happened. So he was actually telling Rick what did he see lah. I was speechless and spooked out that I couldn't sleep afterward. Then I told my medic friend, "Hey, it's either you get me an MC or let me accompany you at the front desk till I'm good to go." Okay, so the moral of Rick give us the moral story lah. So the moral of story is, when you are out the whole day, make sure to shower and clean yourself thoroughly once you're back home before turning in, or else unwanted beings will get attracted to you. So that's the end of my story. Oh my god, this is crazy. And yes, please take note of this moral story, because cleaning yourself I'm just gonna deviate here a bit lah. So as a Muslim, right, we are actually encouraged to actually clean ourselves, to take care of our hygiene, because being dirty attracts all this macam bad energy and all these bad things lah. And furthermore, isn't maintaining your hygiene a good thing? Yeah, so you have to clean yourself up lah, basically. Even though macam like, kalau you dah balik, from like army guys, right, when you are done, and we totally understand you that actually bila balik kau 4 pagi tu, siapa nak pergi layan queue kat toilet and mandi kan, cause dah penat gila, right? Yeah, so busuk-busuk is petua orang tua is just at least cuci kaki or cuci muka, at least some part of you is clean lah. Just try your best, okay? And then before tidur tu, kalau boleh as a Muslim, amalkan lah, pray, like, recite the different things that you have to recite lah before you go to bed, okay? Oh my god. Alright, okay. Hope you enjoy this particular episode. Hope you enjoy this take basically, like macam sharing people's stories. So if any of you who listens to this podcast, especially this series, and if your favorite choice of series is the Spooky Sundays main series, please participate in our question boxes lah. If it doesn't have to be the question boxes for you to share the story. You can always share it whenever you're free to write, or when you're free to type, just share it with me. Or if you have your friend's story that you have and you find it scary, but then he's too lazy to type it out for you, you can type it out for him and then you send it to us, okay? If you don't want to DM me because you want to stay anonymous, please use the email option in our Instagram. Click the email button, it will automatically direct you to whatever email you're using, and then type it out, stay anonymous, and then I will read it out for you. And I think that's about it for today. And thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for supporting this podcast. Thank you so much for supporting Spooky Sundays. We hope that me and Miza, although she's not here, we hope that you really enjoyed so far. And episode 3 is coming. We will be recording it soon. So yeah, until then, we will see you again in Spooky Sundays. Okay, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Blabber Station, BLABBER Station, and also follow us on Spotify so that we don't look very, very, very lonely down there. And to remember to participate in all interactions. Just help us out, like build our interactions and all. Okay, all right. Signing off. I'm Nasrul, and this is the Blabber Station.